Ready to take things to a new level? This is Level On Up with Sadia.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just dandy. Now, before we clicked on the record button, I think it's been 3 years since we've had a chat.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. That's for sure.
So you've been keeping fans waiting for music, and now it's finally here. What really is the cost of love, I must ask?
Oh, mate. I feel like it's a good question. I'm still on the search. Honestly, I feel like I'm hoping that the next album can answer that question. The question still remains.
So what was this song inspired by? Or who?
I feel like it was definitely a song inspired by the classic singer-songwriter breakup thing. And yeah, it was kind of about a time where I was in a somewhat, I guess, codependent relationship where I felt like I was losing myself and my partner was losing themselves. And, you know, and it kind of gets to the point where you're like, how much do we pour of ourselves into this? And is that worth it in the long run? And I guess you don't really ever know until you exhaust all options. So yeah, that's kind of what the song is about.
I guess it's a different process for each individual, but how does it feel releasing a song like that and being so vulnerable with your fans and people out there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it feels good in a way. Like I did write the song maybe like a year and a half ago, so there's been enough time to distance myself from it and have a bit of perspective. And I don't know, I think it's always good and healthy to think about what part you've played in a dynamic too. And yeah, for me, like writing songs about my relationships, my friendships, and my families all very selfish but also very cathartic. So
It's healing and it
it
makes a profit.
it makes 0.007 on Spotify. Woo!
Huge. This is just one of, you've got a few songs coming out because you've got an EP coming out in October.
Yep, correct.
What can fans expect of that, or we're all going to be surprised?
Maybe a bit of column A, column B. It's called Lost Dog, and the EP is just bookmarking that period of my life where I was in that on and off relationship. But I think the songs this time around are definitely more meaty. I think like each song kind of wears its own jacket. And I got to work with some of my favorite singer-songwriters on my bucket list, which is really cool. The next EP, or the next single, I think, is like a duet with Andy Bull, who I love, and yeah, there's a lot of really cool people that I got to work with. Dave Jenkins Jr., who has been a long-term collaborator, produced this record with me, and yeah, he's amazing. And Lucy, who's an amazing songwriter in her own right, has worked with like Dua Lipa and Daniel Johns and stuff. So like it was a really cool moment where I just got to fangirl out hard and work with amazing people, which was so nice.
And obviously they didn't, ruin the expectations because you're quite happy talking about them. I'm sure you would have learnt a lot of things from them along the way too.
100%. Like I think a lot of the time I am very insular, and I do like working on my own, so I feel like this EP was a nice push over the edge in terms of just letting people in. And I think when you work with the right people and have the right community around you, it's so much fun. So this EP, I just got to play essentially and be a big kid, which is the coolest.
Now, it's been a bit crazy in the world the last couple of years. How did you manage to record this EP with all of that going on and getting in contact with these people? Because it's not as easy as what it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think we definitely collaged a lot of it together. So some of the vocal takes, like we did in my bedroom, I recorded in my bedroom under my doona. And most of it was recorded in Dave and Lucy's apartment in Clovelly. So the the trick was kind of making something shit sound expensive in their living room as their newborn baby was crying in the background, which was really fun. It was, I've always liked doing stuff a bit DIY simply because I'm, an independent artist and releasing things out of my own pocket. So it was a fun challenge. And we got to have little fish and chippy sandwiches in the middle of making everything. So it was all, just really nice, relaxed creation, I guess.
And that just adds another layer to the memories of recording it all and looking back and going, we were doing this when we recorded that track. So that's quite a fun experience. Have you had to travel, overseas or anywhere in the last couple of years to get this EP done?
No, we kind of flung the tracks over via the internet.
Good old internet.
The old internet. Don't know if you've heard of that one. We to Jeff Swan in the UK, and he kind of just mixed his own little magic at the end, and the rest was pretty in flesh somehow. I feel like we were able to just do things on the weekends when lockdowns were lifted, and then they came back down. We just held off, and I did stuff in my bedroom, and then they'll lift it again, and we somehow just weaseled them in when the lockdowns lifted over here in New South Wales. So we just got it done.
I bet you're keen to get out and do some shows. You've got some shows in August. Have you done any others recently?
I feel like we have. We played a show in Brisbane and one in Sydney at like the Factory Theatre, but we've been laying pretty low, just kind of holding off until Cost of Love came out, and then hitting Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Canberra, and then hopefully Europe in September. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to book flights. So we'll see what happens.
Now back to the single Cost of Love. There's a music video attached to it, is there?
Yeah, there's a little visualizer. It's kind of, we filmed it at like a horse riding ranch in my hometown, like in Helensburgh, and we just got the local tippy to drop off a couple of tons of dirt, and I'm standing at the end of it, and my friends are just throwing dirt at my face. So that's the concept.
At least they're doing it to you front on, not behind your back. Like, you've got to look at the positives.
True. I think like the concept was like I woke up one night and I was like, that'll be so funny standing at the end of a red carpet, and then my pals are just shoveling dirt at my face. Like the idea in my head was that, when you're in a relationship and you're kind of just constantly digging at yourselves and each other, and the glamorization of your part that you play, I guess. And then it's like, actually, we're just throwing our own shit at each other.
So who was the first friend to put their hand up to say, yep, I'll throw stuff at you? You got to watch them.
I feel like there were too many offers, actually. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, I'd watch out for those friends. Did you learn any new hobbies or catch up on any TV series while in isolation?
To be honest, I'm a huge Bachelor fan, which is probably going to just cancel me immediately. But I just think the straightness of it and the seriousness of the show is so comedic. So I just went into all of the Bachelor seasons. And then what else did I do during COVID? Aside of eat pizza, I think. Oh, I did learn one skill. I'm not a very good cook. I kind of grew up in a like Canton stir fry dolmio pasta kind of household. But I learned how to make gnocchi during my lockdown, and it's like my one signature dish to the day that I die.
Well, you should be proud of that, because not many people can pull gnocchi off.
Oh, it's pretty, like, I mostly am a shit cook, but I must admit this is pretty delicious.
That sounds impressive. What's something people would be, the little internet thing we were just talking about before, what would they find interesting about you that they wouldn't find on the internet?
I don't know about interesting, like maybe it's incredibly nerdy and boring, but during the last year I've started studying a master's in music therapy, which is like my one other like passion project, I guess. Like a it's just such amazing work. I've been working in like a dementia ward and just seeing the way that music can operate in that space and just where residents kind of just come alive and they are able to remember, their childhood is so amazing. So I guess that's one thing that not many people know is that I'm studying to be a music therapist.
Well, in a lot of ways, you kind of already were being a musician because obviously when people listen to a song, they relate and, it brings back memories, it creates new memories. And it's therapeutic as an artist to be able to write that. So it's a pretty cool experience to find out the other side of the scale, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice making or playing music in a non less selfish capacity where I'm not singing about my own feelings and just hanging out with old people. Like there's so many stories and so many huge legends in aged care facilities, and yeah, it's such an honor to hang out with those residents and play music with them. Love a bit of Frank Sinatra and Patsy Cline.
And you're learning along the way too because they'd have such great stories to share themselves.
Totally, yeah, it's the best. Love it.
So the next question on my list is what is next for you, Bec? You've been quite busy, as we can see. EP, few shows lined up. What's planned after that?
So I think, well, this week actually, I'm just bunkering down and writing my next album. So yeah, just trying to finish another record and then um, just touring. I guess that's kind of it. Just writing more songs and having fun, hopefully.
Well, that's the aim of the game, isn't it? I guess the hard part there would be after you've written all these songs is culling them all back and going, yep, that goes on the album. That's a process in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I flung a bunch of songs to my manager, and I was like, during lockdown, I was like, "Look, here they are. Here's my 20 songs over the 2 years." And she was like, nah, keep writing. So um, I think it's always hard. Like, I think a lot of my favorite ones are not always the ones that other people like. So just trying to wring that sponge dry and then seeing what comes out, I guess. But it is hard picking what ones should fit together. But I think it's kind of um, part of the process and part of the joy is like, finding common threads and making it a more holistic piece. Yeah.
Well, the good news is that even if it doesn't make it on this EP or the next album, you've got plenty of material that I'm sure it might be relevant in a couple of years' time. That's the beauty of music, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll have a bag full of D-sides.
Oh, don't say that. Well, thank you so much for having a chat with me. If people want to find out more about you, where can they head?
Just the old internet. You can just Google Bec Sandridge. Sounds like sandwich, but not on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, all of the things. And yeah, I look after all of those so I can reply and we can hang out at shows and all that.
And just for the sake of the sandwich reference there, you said you're not much of a cook. If people want to show up to a show, what kind of sandwiches do they bring you?
I feel like I'm almost a strictly toasted sandwich person. Like the soft sandwich kind of freaks me out sometimes. Maybe because there's like a primary school trauma association of leaving a sandwich in with a banana, and when it just gets a bit soggy and gross. But I feel like just a cheese toasted sandwich is the one.
They are. Doesn't take much to impress you. And I'm sure that good luck. Hopefully you'll get a few sandwiches at your next show.
Fingers crossed.
You have a great one. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.